Hello. Thank you for joining me for Christmas in July. I'm Sarah Chatello from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how simple it is to make this card. This card just uses one stamp set and two ink colors, also two different colors of cardstock, so it's a very inexpensive way to make a lot of quick cards. So let's get started. What I have here is the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. Now this stamp set is a photopolymer, which means it is see-through. And we're going to be using this tree here, and it's almost a distinctive stamp. It almost looks like a real tree. And then I'm going to grab a C block and a piece of basic white that is cut by 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I'm going to get shaded spruce, which is a really pretty like evergreen colored green. And this is the only color we're going to be using for those trees. And I'm going to show you how to get that really cool effect. So you can see I already did it down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to first ink up our stamp by just tapping lightly onto the ink pad. And then I'm going to do one tree towards the right and down to the lower third of the card, but not all the way down. And we're going to just stamp once, straight down, straight up, and without re-inking, we're going to stamp again and then a third time. So then we're going to do that again, tapping lightly. I'm going to go over towards the middle more this time. Straight down, straight up. So I'm stamping 3 times before I put it back on my ink pad. And notice I'm not really lining up anything. I'm just kind of randomly doing it. So now this time I'm going to ink it up and I'm going to stamp it onto my grid paper. You can use a piece of copy paper, whatever scrap paper you have. And I'm just going to fill in those little spots. So I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to go in the end here. And now because I went off the end, I'm not going to do it again. I don't know if you can see, my stamp is kind of split in half with ink. So if I were to do that again, I guess I could do it there, but I'm just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to do it one more time. But if you see on my grid paper down here, it kind of makes a wonky image. So I'm going to stamp that twice on my grid paper and then the third time on our basic white. So that is it for the trees. And I like how it looks like a forest. And we literally use one stamp to do that. I'm just going to clean that off quickly. And then there's several sentiments in this stamp set. I'm going to just use the Merry Christmas. And I'm going to go use the C block again and get Cherry Cobbler, which is a very rich, like dark red. I'm just going to ink that up. And then in the top right corner, getting it as straight as I can. And that is it for stamping. Quick and easy. So this card would be perfect if you wanted to do a lot of cards. I do it kind of assembly line style, so I would cut all my paper first, then do all my stamping, and then put everything together. So now I have a piece of Cherry Cobbler that's cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to fold that in half and take my bone folder and just burnish and crisp up that edge. And then I have a piece here of the double stitch satin ribbon, which is in real red, which is a brighter red than the Cherry Cobbler. I just kind of like the contrast of how that looked. There's also an evening evergreen weave ribbon I think would be really pretty for this card. So I'm just taking Scotch tape and I'm putting it down in that lower part about where the ground is on the trees. I'm just going to wrap that around and put another piece of tape. You could use seal, glue, whatever adhesives you have. And then I'm going to attempt to do a bow on camera. So how I do my bows is I just make 2 little loops and then I cross them. Nope. I attempt to cross them. Probably can't even see what I'm doing. So there I have a very weird and wobbly bow. I had to speed that part up. I know I'm speeding that part up because that took a very long time. And I'm just trying to straighten it out. You may have to play with it a little, or you might be wonderful at making bows. I am not. I'm just going to tighten that so it doesn't come undone, which my bows have been known to do. And then I kind of pull like this just to get the tails to come down. So I'm going to take a pair of paper snips and just trim my ends, and we have a bow. So now I'm going to take a glue dot and my paper snips and get a glue dot off of there. And I flip my bow over and just stick that on the back. And this is what is called a faux bow. And I stick that down. Sometimes if my ribbon is sticking up quite a lot, I'll take a glue dot and adhere it down to the paper just so it doesn't come up quite so much. I like to put it in a place though where the ribbon, because you might be able to see through it depending on the ribbon you're using. So I try to kind of hide it. And now all that's left to do is the inside of our card, which I have another piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to be using this pine cone here, the realistic looking one. And I have an A block here. And you can use whatever colors you have on hand. I think I used soft suede on my example, but I feel like that might be a little too dark. So I think for this one, I'm going to go with crumb cake and see if I like that better. And sometimes that's all stamping is just, oops, experimenting and playing around. I'm just taking a bit of seal and putting it on my black because my stamp fell off of it into the ink pad. And I didn't want to mess with it and get inky fingers. I'm just tapping lightly, straight down, straight up. I think I like the crumb cake pine cones better than the other ones, the soft one. I think that was just too dark. I'll clean this off quickly and then we'll be ready to put our card together. Now you could also add embellishments to this. I was just trying to keep it simple. Our beginning stampers, we don't have a lot of product. So this way you only need ink, paper, maybe a ribbon. So I'm just going to put the inside panel on our card. And then for this, I use dimensionals. Dimensionals are a very inexpensive way to create interest on your card. They're thin, but they will pop up your project. So I'm just putting one in each corner and then one in the middle. And they're two-sided, so you got to peel off the little backings here, which I will probably find in my living room later. These backings managed to get all over the house. And then just line it up. And that is it. You have a quick and easy Christmas card. I hope you're enjoying Christmas in July. Be sure to follow my Facebook or join my VIP group for more Christmas in July cards and projects. See you next time.